So, in this thrilling story, we have a Nazi-occupied France. We meet Professor Bresson, who apparently loves traps and hiding things, because he gives his family his diary, which is trapped, and an amulet with a key to a treasure that Nazis want to find. We know how Nazis find treasure to be completely irresistible. The Germans arrive and kill Bresson before he can explain why he likes traps so much. The family, luckily, runs away but gets chased down by a Nazi professor named Lambert, our ridiculous, eccentric Nazi antagonist of the story. The family ends up in a car crash, and only the infant daughter survives. Lambert steals the amulet but can't find the diary, which was lost during the chase. Fast forward to the 1960s, where we have an exhibition honoring Bresson. Enter a mailman who announces that he's going to steal the diary. Subtle much? The staff tries to put the diary back in the vault, but a female security guard named Letitia stops the mailman, who happens to be none other than Lupin III. Our infamous Interpol inspector Zenigata arrives to catch Lupin, but he manages to escape to the ceiling. Letitia is supposed to put the diary back, but instead, she escapes to the rooftop with it. There's a big fight between Lupin and Letitia over the diary, and she blurts out that she knows more than he does. Lupin and his soft spot of beautiful NPC female characters saves her from falling off the roof and then runs away, claiming he now owns the diary. But surprise, surprise, Fujiko Mine arrives on a helicopter and takes it from him. Lupin gets caught by Zenigata, and Letitia escapes by parachute. Meanwhile, in a boardroom, a group of Ononurba fugitives gather, because every adventure needs a boardroom scene with a bunch of villains discussing their plot in full detail. Lambert discusses their mission, because all evil organizations have missions, and Fujiko arrives with the diary. But Gerard quickly realizes she's a double-crosser and has her detained. The now apprehended Lupin is on his way to prison, but thankfully his friends Yigan and Gomon come to his rescue. Except, they don't want to help him get the Bresson diary back, leaving poor Lupin feeling rejected. I mean, come on guys, where's the loyalty? Meanwhile, Lambert and Gerard are struggling to open the diary with just one half of the key. It's like they never heard of the saying, teamwork makes the dream work. Letitia arrives at her dark apartment and lies miserably on her bed. As she sadly sulks, a surprise appears out of nowhere. It's Lupin. He reveals that he's been secretly tracking her with a device on her shoe. Creepy or resourceful, you decide. He also shows her his amulet, the other half of the key to Bresson's diary which he inherited from his grandfather. Lupin blackmails her into joining forces after revealing that he knows she has a desire to attend the Boston University of Archaeology, and he can quickly put an end to her invitation to study there. Just like that, Letitia goes from feeling like a thief to being an accomplice to a thief. Letitia leads Lupin to the fugitives' hideout, and next thing you know, Lupin and Letitia are on a plane, retrieving the book and the other half of the key. Upon attempting to open the diary, a booby trap is set, and they have moments to figure out part of a riddle to open the book. At the last moment, Lupin realizes the passcode, and they finally open the diary and discover that within it lies the secret to the eclipse, a power generator left behind by a highly advanced lost civilization. And where is it? Oh, just hidden in the ruins of Teotihuacan. No big deal. But surprise, surprise, Letitia has led Lupin into a trap. And who's waiting for him? None other than Gerard and Lambert. It's revealed that Lambert is Letitia's grandfather and they've been working together. Lupin, knowing that Letitia has led him in a trap, willingly surrenders to Gerard and Lambert and is locked up in the back of the plane. We find that Fujiko is up to her usual save-herself routine, and she uses Lupin as a distraction so she can make her escape on her own. Lupin manages to sneak back into the plane and overhears Gerard and Lambert's plan to find Adolf Hitler. Yes, Hitler. This story is nuts. Just when you thought things couldn't get any crazier. When Letitia overhears their plot confronts Gerard and Lambert. She gets knocked out, and Gerard casually throws her out of the plane. Bye, Letitia. Lupin dives out of the plane to rescue his NPC girlfriend. No parachute, no problem. But look over there. It's a plane. Fujiko comes to the rescue and dives in to swoop our heroes up. Of course they are stranded, but no worries. Lupin just summons Inspector Zenigata's and he arrives quickly in his Interpol helicopter. Lupin and crew jack the helicopter, but not before Zenigata manages to get back on board, because that's Zenigata's style. with his only goal in mind to catch the infamous Lupin III. While on board, he learns of the stakes and the Nazis' plans to resurrect the Third Reich. Zenigata decides he can put Lupin in jail later, and Lupin reveals that Letitia is actually Bresson's granddaughter, and Lambert only adopted her to get his hands on the diary and the eclipse, and she has no family relations to that Nazi grandfather Lambert. Lupin's own grandfather actually helped Bresson find the eclipse. Gerard and Lambert find the eclipse's hiding place but are unable to proceed past its traps without the diary, so they return to where they left Lupin. Meanwhile, Lupin's team makes it to the location, but Lupin is the only one that can make it past the obstacles. We then get to see the most glorious dance through a series of lasers and death traps, as Lupin puts on an epic show of bobbing and weaving for his gang. But as soon as the Death Causeway has been conquered, they discover that their enemy's retreat was merely a ruse to clear the path to the eclipse. Whoopsies. Lambert and Gerard use the eclipse, which carries them and Letitia back to the surface, but Lupin's team intercepts them before they can escape, scuttling Lambert's plane. Lambert uses the eclipse to get the plane to fly again, and activates a micro-black hole to finish off Lupin's team. Gerard then decides to use the eclipse to destroy Berlin, but Letitia takes control of the device, and Gerard shoots at her. But in his last moment, Lambert takes the bullet for her and dies, leaving Letitia to use the device to stop Gerard. But then, they find out that Hitler has been located. Excited with glee to meet the Führer, Gerard rushes to meet with Hitler, bringing Letitia along for the ride, and the Nazis depart on the eclipse to test its capabilities. But surprise! Lupin has disguised himself as Hitler, and reveals himself on the eclipse. Gerard attacks him, but Lupin tampers with the eclipse controls to release a micro-black hole directly inside the eclipse. Gerard is sucked into the hole and perishes, while Lupin barely escapes with a gravity device he kept from the Teotihuacan ruins. He safely floats down to meet the gang, and Lupin then gifts Letitia with the gravity device and her enrollment into Boston. Blackmail complete, but Lupin and his gang have to run off in a rush to escape Zenigata's ever-zealous attention. Oh, Zenigata, you'll never catch him, but it's always fun to see you try.